Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Snuckster Slot Car Bench. Today's program is going to focus on the performance dyno from HO Race Parts. Mike Licht over there has provided with an item that has been heavily anticipated amongst the community, as the availability of dynos to test and run our cars appropriately has been minimal. So this particular dyno, in fact, is very, very, very nice. It features that I like about it is the main readouts are on the unit itself, not just the force meter, which is the number that gives you that RPM the motor provides. The harder and faster we can turn the roller, the higher it goes. This is the number you want. But in addition to this, right on the face, you have the readout on the voltage and the amperage. So you're looking directly at it. You can get an accurate feed of the force meter and the voltage coming from the power supply, so you don't cause any harm to your armature rapidly, and you can turn it off or pull the car off. It gives you that second more. So just going along with that, shown here is the miniature power supply, which is a 100 volt to 20 V, 50-60 hertz. Kind of a comparison to the one that you run through your tracks. Most of us run 3010s. And the convenience of this is it's something that can give you mobility if you're taking it to a club race, or you're taking it to a friend's house just to check numbers, or whatever you're doing. It conveniently plugs right into the back of the unit, providing the power that you need to run it. So, to me, that's one of the biggest features of this, is that it has mobility, and it's mobile, and it's convenient to use right on your desktop or right in a club that you might be working with. And it's 4.5 by 4.5 total, so it provides ample space for your desktop or for wherever you're going. Now, just to go over a couple items here, I just want to show you an array of cars that we've lined up for this, just to give you an idea of the kind of cars that can be used on this unit. Simply from the very minimal performance cars such as Thunderjet and Auto World Extraction, also known as the more modern version of the Mega Magna Traction. And then we have your Lifelike T chassis, your Tyco 440X2, your Tomy Turbo, moving up to Super 7, moving over to Viper V-Spec, and then the high performance Tyco, which I'll mention later. Now, just so you know, all these cars are stock. None of these are hopped up for the business of this review, just to show that that's where you mainly start when you're doing some upgrades. And the numbers from the dyno will give you those kind of numbers, which will help you to perform those upgrades to improve your cars. Now, there's a car such as this. This is a Tyco 440 that's been upgraded. It's got a Viper rear end. It's got a Razor front end. It's got Level Pro 8 magnets. This car's a screamer. It'll stay on the track, and the speed that it carries will be able to be captured due to the magnet's ability to hold the car to the track. Very, very fast little angel. But that's just to show you that every single one of these cars can be utilized and tested on this new high performance dyno. One of the nice features of this dyno is the fact that when connecting the chassis, now we recommend placing the chassis, as you can see, there's rails here, rails along the edge, almost like a track rail. This is track rail. And there's a slot there for the car, such as on your tracks. And you place the car conveniently right in that port. Back tires against the roller, preferably straight against that roller. Okay, so that they're right in the center. Now, there's a convenient item here that provides, it's a wall, backing wall, which provides the ability to place the car more stable against this roller and its position. So you would loosen this knob here to bring it forward and backward. Do it a little more. This will lengthen, like say for a 4-gear, you'd probably need it almost back all the way. And then moving this forward over the roller. And tightening that as so. Okay, so as we can see, the car is conveniently located right on the roller, rear tires, which is optimal. So that's holding the car in position. Okay. And again, we recommend taking the bodies off the cars when you do this because you get a lot of vibration, especially with the Lexan bodies. You get a lot of flapping going on at such vibrations. But to date, I haven't seen too many, but it is the more optimal way to test without loss of performance. The roller adjustment is very important. You like to set your cars at anything to get them going. Say if you were testing, or you were braking in, optimal brake in on these cars is usually around 5 or 6. Okay, and you run at 5 or 6 for maybe 5 to 6 minutes to break in your brushes for new cars. Okay. Now, when we're bringing that down, when we're fully testing to get the highest RPM reading that the car will do, most tracks, most people, most communities are running their power supplies at 18.5. That's the given standard. Not sure what all you guys are running them to, but then you would just set your power supply to get an accurate reading. In my case, it's 18.5. Bringing it up to 18.5. Slowly. And this is the reading we get. Shut it off immediately once you get a reading. Optimal reading. Right there, you saw it at like 399, maybe right to 4. So you want to turn that off immediately. You do not want to burn out that armature. Anything longer than 10 to 15 seconds, and you're going to smoke the armature. You can run it longer, like I say, when you're testing at a low volt or you're braking in. So as you can see, that's pretty much what happens. Every dyno, as we know, is different number-wise. So the other day when I saw the number I got on my first car, such as one of these Vipers, I've seen other numbers, so I'm wondering, why is mine a point difference? Why is mine half a point difference? Well, the understanding is that every dyno is a little bit different number-wise. Dynos of different brands can be a lot different. If you want to compare, you need to use the same dyno or at least the same brand. The HO Race Parts Performance dyno, pretty close unit, but the parts at this level have some tolerances, of course, as does major dynos. What is more far important and the more useful is the delta, or the change after any modifications you get to the number that you receive here. Okay. If you change something, better armatures, little bit of tool tension on the brushes to your armatures, better magnets, better motor magnets, etc. And the force meter goes up, we know that that's good. If the amp number goes down, even better. That's more efficient. So when using this dyno in that way, in that manner, it's extremely accurate. The unit, as we know, is not only good for testing the majority of these cars, as you can see, but it is good for sorting out, simply sorting out which cars are faster than others with the number you receive here. So my friends, you know that that's how it'll work. You find a method that suits your style, you run with it, you work with it, you play with it, and it works. This is a beautiful unit. I highly recommend you go to the HO Race Parts and get your performance dyno today. They are accepting orders now on their website. And if anybody really would like to contact me or Mike, I mean, Mike is the manufacturer, Mike Lick, but if you want to give me a shout out and you want to get a couple of performance numbers just out of curiosity, I would be glad to do a live personal video with you. But for reasons of this, I think focusing on the dyno and what it can do, let's just turn this on to run. Again, you're going to get reading right here, okay, of what you do it, and that will transfer to the dyno, voltage, amperage, and the pull, okay, force meter. The unit works very accurately and very efficiently. Simple as getting your car chassis locked in, very simple to do. Center it on the wheels, lock it in, you're good to go. Run your power supply. This has been nice hanging with you guys today. I'm sorry for the hand here in the way, but I decided to do this video in lieu of the live video because there's some things going on today. Uncle Doug's going to have a 12-hour marathon, and a lot of us guys are probably going to watch football, and that comes in between my video and the game. So at this point, I think we're good. If you see your cars here or what you're running, you can be confident in knowing that they will all work on the new performance dyno. The main thing is to maintain integrity. Do not run the unit with your car over 15 seconds to get a high performance force meter reading. Keep it at that point for just seconds. You got your reading, write it down, and just build upon your performance as you go. You guys have any questions, please post them in the comments. I would be glad to get back to you. Mike will get back to you. He has posted an instructional sheet online, which is available right now. Also, the unit, you can get there at Mike's website. You can get the break-in piece, which conveniently plugs in to the power supply. Okay, this power supply comes with various connectors. Okay, alligator clips, USB, USB-C, okay, things like that. So appreciate you stopping by, and we'll talk to you soon. So I like to do my testing anywhere between 8 and 18 volts for most cars, depending on what you're running at your track. That can vary. 12 volt cars are 12, of course, and in some cases 20 volt classes are done there. I encourage you to standardize your test procedure so the data makes sense over time. Do not run the car for an extended time at high voltage. If you want to run the car before a longer time for break-in, keep it to 5 to 8 volts and watch the temperatures. If you're making power poles, all right, at race voltage, like say 18.5 that most guys run on their track, or whatever you're running on your track, run the car until the number is stable. In other words, if it reaches 3.55 or 3.99, and then immediately shut it off, or it will smoke the armature. These normally do not take more than about 5 to 10 seconds to grab that data. There is more load than what the car sees on the track, and it's not moving, so there's no air cooling, as you can suspect by you seeing the car stable right here. This is your warning. Watch the temperatures. And just to let you know, every dyno is a little different number-wise. Dynos of different brands can be different. If you want to compare, you need to use the same dyno or at least the same dyno brand. So we're doing break-in. Low voltage. Smooth, right about there. That's a good break-in number. If we're going to go full voltage, that's one spot that people like to be at, 12.5, or 18.5, 3.59, done. Or pull it off. This, my friends, is the way to do it. Carefully, efficiently.